Now I'm going to show you how to make a basic half-strip checkerboard. This is the same board I used to make my placemats in an earlier tutorial, which can be found at www.artdeco.com. But the same technique could be used for many applications. I'm going to lay out the strips of my first color as closely together as possible without actually touching. Then, because duct tape is slightly less than 2 inches wide, I'm going to cut them at slightly less than 1 inch lengthwise. The second color also needs to be cut into half strips, but doesn't need to be laid out as meticulously as the first. I probably don't have to say this, but I will anyway. If you wanted to have bigger squares on your checkerboard, you wouldn't have to cut them into half strips. The same technique would obviously work with the full strips. Peel up one of your long half strips and lay it in a straight line across the top of your short strips. Make sure you press it down to keep things nice and neat. Then pull up every other one on your short strips straight back, creasing them slightly on the edge up against the long strip. Now you're going to take a long strip right underneath where you just peeled them up, keeping it as straight as possible so you can start your weaving. Now the technique I use for this is to stick my hand on top of the strip, line it up on the way down, and then smooth it down with my left hand. Stick, line it up, and smooth it down, continuing all the way across my weaving. Now I'm just going to repeat a bunch of times, peeling up my weaving, putting down the long strips, and then stick, straightening, and smoothing as I work my way down. Now might be a good time to tell you how I figured out how many strips to lay out. I always lay out enough strips for the length of my project first, so I have less actual weaving to do linearly as I work my way down. This cuts back on the potential for crookedness. So, getting back to my mat, which I want to end up at approximately 11 by 17 inches, I start with the first number to tell me how long to pull my strips. So 11 inches plus an inch or so for clearance. To figure out how many full strips I need to pull, I take the length, 17 inches, make it an even 18, divide it by 2, giving me 9 12-inch full strips. Did that make any sense at all? Hopefully it did, because I'm going to do the same math in reverse for my contrasting color. 11 inches taken to an even 12 divided by 2 is 6 18-inch strips to pull and cut in half. Hey, look at that! I'm almost done. Last row. Helps that I went in super fast forward. This whole checkerboard, though, took me about a half an hour. So now I'm just going to border it with white all the way around. And then I'm going to press it down pretty hard and then cut it off at about a 1/4 inch on the edge so that I don't have to peel up all of those little strips individually at the end. Add your scraps to your duckle ball and your basic checkerboard is done. You can find more fantabulous duct tape projects at www.artdeco.com or right here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, Decos!